Recording is in progress. Excellent. Okay, so yeah, hi. Do you say it Devini? Devini?
Devaney.
Devini. Hi.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. If you guys could turn your cameras on just for a bit, that would be great. So so I can put some faces to names. Especially in a photo class, you know, it's kind of visual, so it's nice to have a visual. Thank you, Devini. Is it Zulema? Zulema? Thank you, Josh. Okay, well, let's get started. I'll share the screen in a moment so we can take a look at the syllabus, and that's pretty much what we'll do. You know, go over the syllabus and what's required for the class and answer any questions that you may have. So my name is Sita Bhattacharjee. Please call me Sita. And please correct me if I mispronounce your name. What's that, Devini? Sorry, oh, you're muted. Somebody said something, but I don't know what. So if I mispronounce your name, please correct me, and correct me as many times as it takes for me to get it right. As you can probably tell, looking at my name, that happens to me a lot. So I'll share the screen and we'll start going over the syllabus. Can you all see the screen? My screen? Just let me know if you cannot, or if there's a problem of any sort. Thank you. So welcome to Introduction to Photography. Again, my name is Sita Bhattacharjee, and please call me Sita. The best way to get in touch with me is through email or via email. And I've given 2 email addresses here on the syllabus, my MPC address and also my personal one. Either is fine. I think officially you're supposed to use my MPC address. You can also email me through Canvas and it gets through to me in the same way. So any of those is fine. I do my best to answer emails, check them once a day and answer them as soon as possible, but hopefully within a 24-hour period, I will have gotten back to you. And if I don't, please feel free to bug me. It won't bug me. Feel free to email me again and check in just in case I missed your email or if it didn't get through. Okay. My regular office hours are on Thursdays from 1:30 to 3:30, and the Zoom address is the same as the one you've used for this. And I'll be there. I'm usually there after 3:30. After hours as well, but feel free to drop in anytime during those hours. And if those hours are not convenient for you, if you can't make it during that time, email me and we'll try and arrange another time to meet personally, you know, a time that works for you. Okay. So, welcome to ARTP10 Introduction to Photography. This course is a non-laboratory introduction to photography. No previous knowledge of photography is assumed or required. So some of you, Josh, and some others of you may have taken other photo classes. That's great. But this is an intro class, so the beginning will be a fair amount of technical information to get you up and running in photography. The purpose of the class is to go over what goes into the making of a successful image. So after covering the use of 35mm cameras, lenses, and film, and other creative controls in photography, we will explore the basic principles of perception, light, color, composition, and visual awareness, and how these elements are used to make a successfully composed image. Through slides and videos, we will also look at the work of a number of photographers. You are encouraged to employ your aesthetic, intellectual, and emotional concerns as a basis for your photographic expressions. So more simply put, after going over all the technical stuff, we will look at what goes into the making of a successful image and how to do that, how we use these different elements, both physical and conceptual, to make an image that kind of makes them want to look at it and move around the frame. And we generally use our own experiences, either from the past or certainly in the present, our physical world, our conceptual world, to make an image, to decide what we're going to photograph and what will go into it. So obviously you will need a camera, a digital camera, and preferably, though this is not required, preferably a DSLR, which is a digital single lens reflex camera, such as the one I'm showing you here. But you do not have to have one of these. You can have a more basic point and shoot camera, with the hope that it allows you some measure of control over the functions. So those of you who have had some photographic experience, either in schools or otherwise, know that there are a couple of mechanisms that you can control that allow light into the camera. And those are the aperture and the shutter. And so I prefer that you have a camera that allows you to control these mechanisms. If you don't, we will try and work around that. But hopefully you do. My first suggestion to those of you who don't have a camera is to ask around. Ask friends and relatives if anyone has a digital camera, maybe an older digital camera that they're not using, that you can borrow or maybe purchase from them, but borrow. Many people upgrade. I'm sure you know some people who have upgrade fever and need to get the newest thing that's out. But many people upgrade and then just sort of set aside their old equipment. And for this class, and in general, an older digital camera is great. As long as it functions, you don't have to have the newest and the best. This is definitely not the newest and the best, but it makes fine images. So do ask around and see if you can find a camera in that way if you are in need. We do not check them out from the school, for certainly not for this class. So even when there isn't a pandemic going on and everybody is meeting on campus, we don't have cameras to check out for this class. But if you're having a problem, let me know, okay? And we'll see what we can do. So speaking of the pandemic, due to the ongoing COVID pandemic and the measures put in place to slow its spread, this class, which normally would be taught in person on campus, will be taught online. As this is an online class, students, you must have regular access to computers, to a computer with high-speed internet access, and be familiar with basic computer and internet functions, which I assume you all have, or you wouldn't be here right now. Of course, you must be familiar with Canvas, which is the platform that we use as a digital classroom. So as all course material and information will be found there. You will also need to be familiar with Zoom, as we will have periodic Zoom meetings, and my office hours will be via Zoom. And you will find the invitations for these meetings in the Zoom meetings module on Canvas. Any questions? Anyone before I go on? No? Okay. So there's a recommended text for this class. You do not have to purchase it. It is entitled Complete Digital Photography by Ben Long in the 9th edition. And the readings will be shown in their corresponding modules in Canvas or on Canvas. And you can purchase the text either in a printed version or you can download the ebook, and I've given you the website for that. You're not required to purchase the text, and you're not responsible for, nor will I test you on anything that has not been gone over in class. So in the readings, the lectures, and so on. Okay, so please note that if for some inexplicable reason you need to drop the class, you don't like me, which I hope is not true, you can't take it, something has come up, please do drop the class. It's your responsibility to do so. So if you stop coming to class, if I see that you're not, accessing Canvas, that you haven't turned in assignments, I'll email you and check in and see what's going on. And if you tell me that you can't take the class or I never hear back from you, I may drop you, but I don't guarantee that I'll drop you. And it would be a shame for you to get a W, which means withdrawn, or especially an F, just because you didn't drop the class. Okay, so if you do need to drop the class, if you can't take it, I should say, please do drop it. Let me know if you can. Grading, everyone's favorite topic. Evaluation and grading will be based upon a final exam, the timely submission of assignments, participation, and overall effort. And I'll go over participation in a couple of minutes. Late assignments are accepted, but points may be deducted depending on the number of days late. So if you have something going on, let me know. We can work that out. Okay. If you're unhappy with a grade, please speak to me about it. Based on the strength and validity of your argument, I may or may not change your grade, but you may redo the assignment for a higher grade. So any of the assignments can be redone, with the exception, of course, of the final assignment, which is due at the end of the term. So there's no time to redo it. But any of the other assignments can be redone for a higher grade. Projects and the exam will be graded on a 1,000 point scale, and a minimum passing grade is a D- or 60%. I assume you guys will do better than that. But here is the breakdown of grades based on that 1,000 point scale from A down to F, and the breakdown of the assignments. So there are 5 assignments, 5 shooting assignments, technical assignments, a written assignment, and a final exam, and then your participation. So each of the first 4 assignments is worth 100 points for a total of 400 points. The 5th assignment is worth 200 points, and that makes 600 points. The written assignment is worth 100 points, which makes 700 points. The final exam worth 200 points, which is a total of 900 points. And finally, participation, 100 points, for a total of 1,000 points. The final exam, which will cover all the technical stuff that we've gone over, will be available on Canvas during the last week of the fall semester. And that's from December 6th to December 10th. That seems pretty far away, doesn't it? It's still summer. This means that you must take the exam sometime between 12 a.m. on Monday, December 6th, and 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, December 10th. So you have that week to take the exam. You may take it twice, and the higher grade will be the one that counts if you requirement. Okay, all work for this class that's submitted is to have been made for this class. And over the course of this academic, sorry, it's not supposed to say quarter, it should be semester, over the course of this term, and not therefore prior to August 13th, 2021. So technically the term started on Friday, the 13th. I don't know why. At any rate, it started on Friday. So any work that you turn in must have been done after or from August 13th on. Can I tell, you know, if you hand in something that was done 2 years ago, it suits the assignment perfectly, but it was done 2 years ago. Can I tell? Yes, I can actually, because all of the information about the image has been embedded into the image's file. So there are different file types for images, but that information, which is called the metadata, is embedded into the file. So information about the camera you use, the lens, the settings, the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO rating, if you have the GPS turned on, where it was made, and of course, when it was made. So down to the second, it records when it was made. So yes, I can tell when it was made. Can you change the metadata? Yes, you can. But in my opinion, it takes more effort and more work to change the metadata than it does to do the assignment. So, yeah, please turn in work that you've done for this class. Okay, so the breakdown of how grading works, what an A, B, C, D, or F constitute, and I'm sure you have a very good idea of this, but the breakdown. Yeah, question, comment? Is that Jonathan? No? No, okay. Your little box lit up. Again, for the people who have come a little later, I appreciate it if you turned your cameras on for a bit so I can see who you are. It's nice to put a face to a name. So if you would do that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Onward, participation. So you may ask, how do you participate in a class that is completely online? And so, though we will not be meeting in person, participation, which includes asking questions, making comments, and discussing your work and the work of your classmates, is still an important facet of education and learning. There will be a general discussion forum for us to chat in. And so that will be made available probably later today. And it will be listed on the left side of Canvas, along with the, home, the syllabus, the modules, etc. So anything you want to discuss, go ahead and put it in there, and hopefully we will all access that on a regular basis. Okay. Next, peer reviews will be assigned for each assignment, and they're in place of the in-class discussions that we would be having for these assignments. You will be randomly assigned 2 classmates per assignment whose work you must comment upon. So what does this entail? You are to make comments and/or observations about the images you have just seen. Do you like them? Do you not like them? And why? What works for you? What does not? Why? Please don't just say, wow, I really like your images, which is great, but explain and elaborate on that briefly, of course. So you don't have to write a whole thesis on each piece or each student's work. And of course, please be kind, as you would have people be kind to you about your images, but be honest. And if something doesn't work for you, go ahead and say that and say why. And in addition, ask any questions that you might have about how the images were made, what the artist's intentions were, and so on. So if you have questions, ask them, and hopefully you will look at the comments that you receive about your images and answer questions if any are posed to you. Okay. So a relatively short paragraph will suffice. You don't have to go on and on and on, but please put in some specifics. Okay. I am sure this doesn't apply to you, and I can't imagine really how it applies very much to online classes, but disruptive behavior can be a problem. And so the college will enforce all policies and procedures set forth in the standards of student conduct. Any student disrupting the class may be asked to leave the class. Administrative follow-up may result. Again, I assume that this will not apply to you. I have to say I've never had a problem with online classes, and very, very rarely with classes in general. So I'm assuming that won't be a problem, but we do have to put it in the syllabus. Academic integrity. Don't cheat. So as a student at Monterey Peninsula College, you join a community of scholars who are committed to excellence in the process of teaching and learning. Academic honesty, and of course, honesty in general, is fundamental to this community. We assume that all students will pursue their studies with integrity and honesty, that the work they submit is their own original work that accurately represents the time and effort applied. So on and on, cheating, plagiarism of written or visual information, or knowingly furnishing false information in the classroom or to the instructor, is academic dishonesty and is a violation of the honor code, and so on. So I just want to add that information that you find online has been written by someone. And so I think that many people, and I'll include myself in this, tend to feel or think that information on the internet is kind of like a freebie, that you can take it and use it and that's okay, but that's still plagiarism. And so if you take information from a site online and use it in a paper or in some other way, you need to cite your source. You may need to make an attribution and tell us where that information came from. Otherwise, that is plagiarism. It's cheating. Okay. And of course, if you have any questions about this or anything else, just ask. Outcomes. So these are the things that you should be able to do upon completion of this class. So the general ed outcomes are more broad. Upon successful completion of this area, students will have demonstrated an ability to analyze and interpret human thought, achievement, and expression relative to such branches of knowledge as philosophy, literature, and/or the fine and performing arts, and to communicate the results. More specifically, upon completion of this class, you should be able to produce photographic images demonstrating technical principles of exposure with concepts of composition, design, aesthetics, and content. 2, evaluate photographic compositions and analyze photographs for literal and symbolic meaning, utilizing basic principles of design and visual communication. 3, develop productive studio habits, a strong work ethic, and safety protocol. That applies somewhat more to darkroom, a darkroom class, which is ARTP10. 4, gain the ability to use visual media to bring personal ideas to fruition and effectively communicate that vision to others, to be able to make successful images. The learning objectives are pretty much the same, so I'll kind of skip that. Okay, any questions before we go on? Anybody? No? Okay. If you have any of help, the Access Resource Center is available to you. They offer academic counseling, specialized instruction, and also classroom accommodations to students with a verified disability. Based on a student's academically related functional limitations, supports are provided to to promote access to campus programs and activities. So if you need accommodations, if you need counseling, and I think tutoring, go ahead and talk to the Access Resource Center, and I've given you their site here. Okay. Important dates. August 13th, classes begin, obviously. Late registration requires an add code. You're already here, of course, so you've added this class, but if you need to add a different class, that is available through August 29th. August 28th is the last day to drop semester length courses and be eligible for a refund of fees, including resident and non-resident tuition, as well as term fees. Tuition will not be returned if courses are not officially dropped, and the tuition cannot be used to pay for other courses added if you haven't dropped this class or a class. August 29th is the last day to add a semester length course with an add code, as I said, and it's also the last date to drop semester length courses without receiving a W. So there'll be no evidence that you ever took this class if you drop it before or by August 29th. August 30th is Census Day. That's more for faculty than a concern for you. September 6th is a holiday, it's Labor Day. So for online classes, it doesn't really affect us much. You know, you don't have to access Canvas on that day, and nothing is due on that day. There are no meetings. If your class meets regularly on those days, September 6th, I believe, is a Monday, it won't meet. Okay. September 11th is the last date to request a pass, no pass option. September 24th is another holiday, Native American Day commemoration. So the same things apply as for September 6th. To be determined, last date to submit a fall graduation petition, if you want to graduate. November 1st, the deadline for submitting fall graduation petition and official transcripts of completed courses for other colleges. November 10th, last day to drop a semester length course and receive a W. So after that date, you can't drop the class. So if you do want or need to drop this class or any other class, you should do so before November 11th. Sorry, before November 10th. Otherwise, you cannot drop the class and you'll receive an F. Excuse me. November 11th, Veterans Day holiday. November 25th through 27th, Thanksgiving. The last day of classes is December 3rd. Yes, 3rd. And then finals week, excuse me, is December 6th through 10th. And December 10th is the last day of the semester. So generally for this class, I want all work submitted by December 3rd. And that includes all late work and all redo or makeup, redo assignments, so that I have time to grade them. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Okay, so I welcome your questions and comments. I truly do. Please feel free to contact me with these or any concerns or issues you may have, or just want to come and talk. That would be lovely. So via my email and during my office hours. And again, if my office hours, which again are Thursdays from 1:30 to 3:30, if you can't make it at that time or those times, contact me and we'll so happy shooting. And then these are just some online photographic resources that I have listed. And I will get up, I think there are 2 more local photo stores that I'll put up here. So that is our syllabus. I just want to talk briefly about the way the class is structured. All of the information for this class, that is the lectures and so on, all of that is available to you in the modules. So the first module is a welcome and some technical information and resources that you may need. Those are listed here. Class information. So information about peer reviews, the topics that will be covered on the exam at the end of the term, and a note about recommended texts and readings, which I'll just go over briefly. So again, come on, there we go. The text is not required. So you don't feel compelled to purchase it. So again, it's recommended, not required. You don't have to purchase it. That's entirely up to you. The readings are supplemental and are not meant to take the place of readings, lectures, videos, and other information provided in the Canvas modules. But if you do, here are the readings, and they're also listed in each module for each topic. So back to the modules, hopefully. Sorry, my internet, although I pay for the highest level, is not always great. So Zoom meetings, the office hours invitation, and then the modules themselves. So the basics, and I should say these are presented in the order in which you should be accessing them. So they're, we start out with the basics, the camera, how it functions, digital cameras, and so file types and so on, and how the cameras record and store images, some basic terms, lectures that I have given and recorded on cameras, and ISO ratings is the first one, and the basics of cameras and lenses, and also my notes. So these are notes that I've written out as I lectured, and they're available to you if you want to take a look at them. You don't have to. And then the lens, different types of lenses, what they do, and so on. And as you can see here, there's an assigned reading. I shouldn't say assigned. There is a recommended reading. I'll change that if you want to, if you purchased the text and want to read it. How you control the light entering the camera, the aperture and the shutter, the 2 mechanisms that I mentioned. Equivalent exposure, so this gets more technical. That is putting things together and using the aperture and the shutter together to make proper exposure. Depth of field, which is how much of the frame from the foreground to the background is in focus, and you need the information that came before in order to understand this and some other topics, and in order to do the assignments. So do look at them and read them, access them in order. Color, temperature, and white balance, motion, portraiture, looking at photographers and their work, and there's more to that. A textbook reading on composition, and of course, we will talk a lot more about photographs and composition. So as we go on, there will be more lectures on specific photographers. We will not have regular meetings for that, because this class is listed as asynchronous, and that means that there is no assigned meeting time, and that everything technically is online and done online. We will have Zoom meetings for the assignments to look at your work. These are not required, though I certainly hope that you attend, and we'll use them to look at your work. So for the people who attend, we'll go over the specific images. If there's time, we'll go over images for those who don't attend. But all of you will receive in Canvas or on Canvas, you'll receive a grade and a written evaluation from me, and or an evaluation that's spoken. So I may write it out or I may record it, but it will be there for you, regardless of whether you have attended the Zoom meeting or not. Those Zoom meetings will be recorded and will be posted on Canvas, as will this introductory Zoom meeting. Okay. So any questions, comments? Anybody?
I have a few questions.
Yes, Jonathan.
Will this class cover Lightroom or editing raw photos?
It does not cover Lightroom. The first class that does is ARTP10, and that's digital photography, and that goes over Lightroom and some Photoshop as well. It's also an intro class, so you'll get some of the same intro information, you know, the basics of cameras and photography, but then it's kind of the equivalent of the wet darkroom class. You know, we go in and we shoot images, and then we look at them, decide which ones we want to work on, and then instead of working in the darkroom, we use Lightroom and or Photoshop to manipulate those images. Okay,
so there's no raw editing either, right?
Not in this class, no. Okay. Now, if you shoot, you have the option, you can shoot raw or shoot JPEG or shoot raw and turn in JPEGs. That's up to you. But I don't want your images to be manipulated in Lightroom or some other application before you turn them in. I want to see them pretty much as you shot them. Okay.
And those, those review Zoom meetings, when are those going to be, or what are those called?
Those will be announced as you turn in your work. We'll have Zoom meetings. So I guess I don't have the dates down. I'll get the due dates up quickly for your assignments, and the Zoom meetings we can assume will probably be the week after they were due, so we can take a look at them. Okay. Any other questions? So I'm sure that you're all, well, I shouldn't say that. You're probably all familiar with the structure of Canvas, but the you know, the different sections of Canvas are shown on the left, and the home page shows the syllabus, at least on my my page. Not everyone structures it the same. At the top, there will be announcements. So there's a welcome, and that's the same welcome that I emailed to you guys. I've also put here a list of camera possibilities if you're in need of a camera. This is not a comprehensive list of cameras, but I've listed some point and shoot cameras that allow you manual control, but are cheaper as cameras go, under $400. And then the cheaper DSLR cameras, digital single lens reflex cameras, that are under $800. I don't know why there's an and sign there. My apologies. It should be a dollar sign. So again, you're not required to purchase a DSLR. This is actually, this was a camera that was very whose it was. But anyway, this is that camera. The camera I use, I got at Costco several years ago. It's a fine camera. It's the model up from the D5600. It's the 71 or 200, I think. These are all fine cameras, and they should anyway give you good results. But again, you're not required to buy a DSLR, but I would like you to have a camera that allows you some control over it, specifically the ability to change the aperture, the shutter speed, also what's called the ISO rating. So these are some possibilities here. And then the assignments, the discussion will be right up here when I open that up. Quizzes, grades, a list of people, and then the rest just has no bearing on this for you. So actually what you're seeing here is my page, not yours, but if I go to the student page, you pretty much see the same type of stuff, but you see here on the left, these are the things that are available to you. And then again, the syllabus and so on. Okay. Any other questions? Anybody? Anybody? No? Okay, well, I'll stop the share at this point and go back to you guys. I appreciate that some of you attended. I hope that you will be able to attend the later Zoom meetings going over assignments. And again, my office hours are via Zoom. So please drop in during my office hours anytime for any reason. I'll just be sitting there. So I appreciate it when people come and talk to me. I look forward to that. So if there are no more questions, I will bid you a good day. And again, thank you for attending this. I hope that I answered any questions you might have had. And yeah, have a delightful rest of the day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Okay. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye now.